for you. In studio, as earlier on hinted, I'm joined by Paul Juma, who's a manager of corporate communication at the Kenya Universities and College Central Placement Services, as well as Nicholas Siwatom, who's a human resource practitioner. And Siwatom will be playing the key role of answering what exactly employers look out for in terms of the employability skills. Gentlemen, many thanks for your time. Welcome to the studios. Let's get right into it. Juma, placement is ongoing. As you tell us, the nitty-gritty details on how one can actually do it. I know it's all online right now. When is the deadline? And for a young person seated at home, how exactly do they approach the placement process?
Okay, first, thank you, Jesse, for having me on the show. And as you've mentioned, it's true that the placement is going on. It's an online process, and we opened our portal on the 24th of May. And it's going to close this week on Friday. The target are the candidates of 2020 class and those who did the KCSE examination in the years before. So we urge all the youth out there, those who did their KCSE examinations, the 2020 class and previously, to make an effort of logging into the system and applying for the courses they'd like to pursue. So one thing that we need also to highlight is that if you did your examinations in the previous years, other than 2020, then you are eligible to apply for the TVET courses. We have a lot of space for TVET students, for diploma, certificate, and artisan courses in our national polytechnics, our technical training institutions, and other TVET colleges that are public TVET colleges. So we urge everyone who is out there who has never had a chance to go to college, regardless of your grade, whether you have a C plane up to E, you can get something that you can apply for.
And I think that was my next question, because word out there, many might assume that those who qualify to university, the grade C plus and above, are the only ones who can actually change their courses. Is this true? If I get C, how exactly do I approach this?
Yes, it is not true that if you did not attain the minimum grade for university admission, you cannot apply. On the contrary, with a C, with a D, with an E, with any grade between A and E, you will be able to log into the portal and you'll be able to see a course at your level, a course that you qualify for. The requirements are as follows. If you scored a C plus and above, you are eligible to apply for a degree course, but nothing stops you from also applying for a TVET course if you wish. If you realize that there's a TVET, a technical course, that will put you on the right path to the careers that you desire, then nothing really stops you from applying for that, even if you have a C plus and above. Indeed, previously, we've had students with a C plus and above who've opted to apply for TVET courses at the diploma level. Secondly, if you have a C plane and a C minus, you can apply for a diploma course. But nothing also stops you from applying for an artisan course. And lastly, if you have a D minus and E, then you can also apply for an artisan course. So these are courses that once you are placed, you become a government-sponsored student, which means that upon admission, the government will cater for part of the cost of your studies. And so we encourage all parents, all guardians, our leaders, our clergy, to help us to mobilize so that we have all those who are eligible, who are out there, to take advantage of this opportunity and apply for the courses they would like to pursue.
Okay, and the media is definitely helping in mobilizing right there. Siwatom, talk to me from an employer's point of view. How eligible am I if I've just finished Form 4? I am young, energetic, an open mind, and I'm looking for work. I might not have the necessarily infrastructure to go to a further level of education. How employable am I?
Now, thank you so much, Jesse. if you've just finished your educational qualification, for example, class 8 or form 4, you may not be very employable because employers are looking for skills that can help them solve problems within the society. So you need to have specific skill sets so that you can be able to be employed. So you may find a job being advertised and they say you need to have finished Form 4. In addition, you need some particular skill sets depending to the kind of job that you have applied. So this is a great opportunity, especially for the youth, because when you look at statistics, we have about, I think, 1.6 million youth below, people below the age of 35 who are jobless. And some of them, it's because they do not have the right skills. And, when there's an opportunity to revise your course and be able to gain a skill, then that is where what you need to do. Because you'll realize that from statistics, most people who have lower educational qualification and lower skill level, the likelihood of getting a job is very slim. But for those who have higher qualification, either university or diploma courses, then their possibility of getting a job improves. Yeah.
Okay, that's well noted. Juma, as we talk about this, not everyone comes from an enabled background. In case I want to revise my course, I've just joined the KUCCPS page. Are there any payments at this particular point in order to revise my course?
Yes, there's a small fee, which is a maximum of 1,500 shillings. And you know that this application starts actually in school. So the candidates whose results were recently released, many of them applied for the first time when they were in school. And at that point, they were required to pay a small fee of 500 shillings. So if someone applied in school, at this point when they're revising their courses, they would only be required to pay 1,500. But if someone missed the school application or the application at the school stage, then they would be required to pay the maximum fee, which is the application processing fee of 1,500 Kenya shillings.
Okay, that's well noted. And I think it's also a good news that application is not limited to just last year's candidates. So the next proper question would be, what major considerations are done during the placement process, Juba?
During the placement process, there are two major considerations that will determine whether you get a course or not. So the first one will be your qualification, the scores that you have from KCSE. And secondly, the available capacity in the program that you are interested in. There are programs, especially at the degree level, there are courses that are in high demand. Very many students and the best students prefer going for them. And these programs also have quite limited capacities. So if you look at medicine, you look at the engineering courses and related, you realize that the capacities are normally quite few overall, yet the students who are qualified, who meet all the minimum requirements, are normally more than the capacities. So the effect of this is that the competition goes quite high, and if you look at the previous cutoff points, which are just the indicators of how competitive a course is, then you realize that they are quite high. For example, for medicine, they'll be in the 44, 45. And so you realize that if your cluster weight for that particular program is around 40, of course, it is quite high as well, but on competition, your chances are, disadvantaged. So we normally advise applicants that when you're on the portal and you are selecting your courses, pay attention to the previous cutoff points and look at the trends. So where the trends indicate that the cutoff normally falls somewhere higher than what you have as a cluster weight, then we discourage you from applying for that because the chances are that you will miss that course.
Okay.
So you should be keen to ensure that any course that you apply for at the degree level, your cluster weight is above the previous cutoff point, and especially the 2019 cutoff points. Now, with regard to the TVET courses, the diploma, the certificate, and the artisan, the key considerations are the subject requirements for those programs.
Or the specific subjects,
the specific subject requirements. And of course, the minimum requirement, if it's a C- for a diploma, then if you have less than that, then you cannot apply for a diploma. So it's also important to just pay attention to all those requirements, and they are all provided in the portal.
Okay, and I'm sure there's also steps on how to approach this placement process. Siwatom, I mean, let's talk about reality. So much emphasis in the past has been given to university courses. Right now, the government is definitely trying to change that. A wind of direction of change, rather, is blowing towards the TVET and colleges, those young minds who did not attain the university level entry point. But also, there might be an issue where the young minds as well are not willing to join the TVETs. They sort of look down on it. Talk to me from an employer's point of view. What do employers look out for? Just skills? What else?
Now, Standard Media started a standard jobs listing portal. And from the experience that we have seen, all the jobs that are advertised, that we list on our job portal, will require these skills. And most of them, while they also put emphasis on having educational qualification like a degree or a diploma, the more emphasis, especially when you come to the interview, will be placed on your ability to be able to do that work. So that ability to be able to do the work is more important, because if you find a small business and they just have a few employees as an SME, their focus is delivery of what they are producing, whether it's in agriculture, it's in the service sector, or in the industries. They need someone who can actually do the job. So that ability to do the job, you only get it when you have studied some very specific skills. And also, even if you look at employability and you say you want to look for self-employment, to be able to employ yourself, you also need skills to be able to go out and start your own business. If you don't look for a job for employment and you want to start your own personal business, you need skills to be successful and to be efficient and to be able to serve your clients.
So that's why skills are quite important.
Exactly.
They play a very key role. So don't look down on certain courses due to the placement process. But Juma, still with the issue of our backgrounds, not everyone is enabled. We're all enabled differently. What happens if I want to be sponsored by the government? In case I apply through their website, will I qualify for help from the government in terms of a loan?
Indeed, if you apply for a course in a university or a college through the COOPS portal, and you get that course, you become a government-sponsored student, and it means, therefore, that the government will help you in meeting the cost of your training. If you join a TVET institution, it is government policy that government will pay for you up to 30,000 Kenya shillings in a TVET institution. And if there's a balance of the fees, you will still be eligible to apply for a loan from the Higher Education Loans Board, or HELB. So this really will help the students and the parents to reduce the burden of the cost of training. If you join a university, again, you will benefit from government sponsorship, and therefore the fees or the tuition fees that you will pay will be significantly reduced. And in addition to that, you'll be able to apply for a loan, again, from the Higher Education Loans Board. So on the one hand, you get what they call capitation, which is the money that comes directly from the government to your institution. And then on the other hand, you also get to apply for a loan from HELB.
Okay.
So this really helps many students.
So will I receive government support? You've mentioned 30,000 Kenya shillings if I do not apply through the website.
No, you will not.
Okay.
Although for TVET, the government policy is that we want as many youths as possible who need the training to access it. So you need to apply through COOPS so that you are able to get this sponsorship. In case you are not able to access the COOPS portal, or you miss it, then when you walk into that institution, then they'll be able to advise you on what to do so that you can be assisted to become a government-sponsored student. But the first point of entry is the COOPS portal. So we just encourage all students or all youths who are in need of a training opportunity. This is the time to take advantage of the opportunity that we have brought to you.
Okay, that's well noted. Siwetom, I'm sure going through the Standard Jobs portal, you definitely have insider information, if I may call it that way, in terms of the skills, in terms of human resource skills, if it is technical skills that are actually in demand. What skills are employers looking out for at this particular point in time?
Okay, right now we are seeing quite a depressed situation in terms of jobs that are advertised for the youth. I think it's because of the impact of the COVID and businesses closing. But if you look at the trend, because we upload about 200 jobs every day, the jobs are mainly in the agricultural sector, in the service industry, some specialized courses like accounting, electrical engineering, health-related courses, computer science related courses. These are coming up, and these therefore are possibly areas that may be of growth into the future.
Okay, that's well noted. Juma, so I'm sitting at home. I applied for a course earlier on, and I happen to get less cluster points right now. Let's speak directly to this young mind or young parent as well who will offer guidance to the candidate who just concluded their course. Talk to us. I got less cluster points. How should I approach this?
Now, if you look at the requirements for a program and you realize that the program that you really were interested in, you either look at the cluster, the cutoff points, and you look at your cluster weight and you realize that it's lower than that, there are a lot of courses on offer. So we encourage you to have a plan B. So you realize that in the application portal, you do not choose one course. You choose a maximum of 4 courses. And you are required to arrange them in the order in which you prefer them. So there's a choice number 1, there's a choice number 2, 3, and 4. So you are supposed to come up with a list of the courses you'd like to pursue and be able to arrange them in the order of priority. So once you arrange them in that order, then you'll be able now to see that if I do not get my number 1 choice, then I should be able to get my number 2 choice. And if you're well guided and you pay attention to the clusters, the cluster weights and the cutoff points, you will most likely get the course that you apply for. So many students who make application when they disregard the previous cutoff points normally end up missing those courses. So it's very important to pay attention to that. And for university, for the degree courses, choice number 1 has 3 slots. So there's number 1A, 1B, and 1C. Here you are required to enter just the same course, but in 3 different institutions. And this increases your chance of getting the course that you desire most. So once you fill in 1A, 1B, and 1C, then you also have your plan B as number 2, another one as number 3, and another one as number 4. Now the same applies to the TVET courses. For the TVET courses, there are also 4 choices. So you'll have choice number 1, choice number 2, 3, and 4. But there'll just be 4. There's no 1A, there's no 1B, there's no 1C. Thank you.
Okay, that's well noted. Siwetom, I mean, with the placement from an E to an A, you get a course allocation. My question would be, in terms of my employability, yes. I got an E, I proceeded to do a TVET. Does that E still, should I term it as a stain in terms of my employability? Will the employers look at that, or do they consider the skills you've acquired later on in life?
Now, you'll see that the courses you may qualify with an E may be artisan courses. And this could be plumbing, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, being a mechanic, and carpentry and masonry, hairdressing and beauty. So those level of skills, nobody should really care about whether you got an E or a D minus. It's how good you are in terms of delivering, that skill, either of being a plumber or an electrician or a beautician. you can be able to do that without anyone worrying about whether it was an E or not. Yeah.
Okay, that's well noted. Juma, you mentioned the deadline is quite close, so the rush must be there. Does the portal actually extend? Is there a possibility of that?
No.
Okay.
The portal will close on Friday. And I know that the applications are still going on. There are many candidates who are still, in the process of choosing their courses, deciding which ones to apply for. Last week, we had our officers in a number of locations countrywide to assist those who may have challenges. We have since brought them back to the headquarters. However, we are also still present in some Huduma centers. So those applicants who may have faced certain challenges, you could check which Huduma center is nearest to you and go and ask for the COOP services. We are in Nairobi at GPO and Makadara. We are in Mombasa. We are in Meru. We are in Nyeri, Kisumu, Kakamega, Kitui, Garissa. Yes, there are about 11 of them. So you can check any of those Huduma centers for help. But it's important to note that this application is online. If you have any gadget that is connected to the internet, even a phone, you should be able to log in at the comfort of your location and just look at the courses that are there and apply. So you don't have to come to our offices or you don't have to look for us. As long as you know what you want, you can log into the portal. You will use your index number, the KCS index number, and you'll use your birth certificate number as the password. And you'll just be able to apply for a course from wherever you are.
Okay.
So you don't have to really look for us.
Okay, that's well noted. Siwatom, I mean, I interact with the young minds out there, and the common notion is that there are no jobs in Kenya. So what exactly is Standard Jobs trying to do in terms of linking the employer with those who are looking for jobs? How important is it?
Now, it's very important because this becomes your first place to go to if you are looking for a job. Once you log on to the system, you can subscribe, and you will indicate your profile and the type of job that you are interested in. If such a job is posted, then you will get an alert. You will get an SMS alert to tell you there's a job that has been posted. You can now go and apply. That's important. Secondly, we are actually trying to focus on the youth, people under age of 35, meaning you're either in middle cadre in your career or fresh graduate from university or college. And we want to target SMEs who are like the places where jobs are coming up in. So we are trying to connect the youth to SMEs specifically, or any other area or employers that will come up. So this is the place that you can go because we update on a daily basis. And once you go to that website, you register, you can see a listing of all the jobs that have been posted that will be relevant to you. We try to limit it to jobs that are related to people who are below the age of 35. Maybe you have worked for 5 years, for 3 years, for 2 years, or fresh graduate, internship, driver, electrician, any job. And we ask employers who are looking for, this young, fresh talent to just place their advertisement with us, and we'll be able to reach out a large pool of applicants, and we'll be able to get you the CVs that you're looking for.
Siwatom, I interact with young men, and they might ask, I've just cleared campus, and they're asking for 5 years job experience. That's usually a common issue. Yeah. Many of them still go ahead and apply, just hoping to play their cards right. But how do you exactly approach this problem?
Now, a job that requires 5 years experience is not your job if you are a fresh graduate. Okay. You need to look for a job that does not require that 5 years experience. And they are there. And if an employer is looking for fresh graduates, of course they know you do not have that experience. And they will be looking for other skills that you have. You see, what have you been doing when you were in college? What internships have you managed to find yourself in? What is your passion? Yeah, so that would be more of what an employer would be looking for, but not looking for 3-5 years experience. It's obvious you do not have that experience.
Okay, well noted. Juma, I know you've talked about financing up a level, but just to drive the point home for the young minds who are from vulnerable families, exactly how important is it to go through the placement service in order to get the government support, the much needed government support in terms of tuition fee, as well as qualifying for the other support as well?
Yes, it's extremely important for those from, disadvantaged or from humble backgrounds.
Yeah.
That the government has put in a lot of investment in TVET, in technical training. National polytechnics are well equipped. We have technical training institutes, well funded, well equipped, and the government continues to invest in this. And there are many that have been constructed in all the constituencies, and there's a big capacity. For example, we had when the results were released, we had around 146,000 with C+ and above. But we had just about 600,000 or thereabout who are eligible for TVET. These are the ones with the E up to C. Yet our capacities alone in the public institutions are over 300,000. You have not considered the private TVET institutions. You've not considered other public institutions like MTC, the disciplined forces. So there's a lot of capacity for this category of students. And if you're from a humble background, you are not able to fund your studies on your own, this is an opportunity for you to take advantage of and get a course, whether it's an artisan course or a certificate or a diploma. The government will be able to pay up to 30,000 shillings per year for you, so that is taken off your budget.
Okay.
And then you also apply for a loan.
So
this is very, very important for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in case I'm not a last year's candidate, do I still qualify for the government support?
Even if you're not from last year,
Yeah.
for TVET, it's open.
Oh, it's open.
It's open up to the year 2000.
Okay.
You will apply, and we are going to process your application, look at whether you have those requirements, and you'll get a course.
Okay.
Yes.
That's proper. So, Tom, as we finalize, we've seen hashtags Ikokazi KE, trying to push the fact that it's not just the fact that there are no jobs, but your employability aspect. So speak to someone who's seated at home who might have the idea that there are no jobs, but they're not looking inwards. From a point of looking inwards, where do I start? What key areas should I look at in order to boost my employability aspect?
Now, to improve your employability, you have to give yourself skills. And giving yourself skills goes in different ways. One, you cannot just sit at home and watch TV and hope to get skills. Okay. You have to step out there, and whether it is doing a job that you give free service to gain yourself ability to learn, that is important. You can volunteer. You can go for internship, attachments, and try things that you can do, because you have learned something. If you have finished these TVETs or university, you have learned something, and you can be able to put that into practice. And after that, you need to now look for where to search for the jobs, meaning you need to, log on to this website so that you can see jobs that are being listed. Look around, The advantage of internet nowadays is you can look for the jobs even when you're at home. You don't have to, visit offices and write letters and do that. So that is important. Being able to be mobile. See, can you, self-employ yourself? There are people who can self-employ themselves, and they can try. You can start with that, and as you gain those skills, you become more employable. Okay. In the job market.
Okay, gentlemen, many thanks for your time. Unfortunately, we would have continued with this conversation, but the key areas are actually out there. If you're seated at home and you want to apply for a course revision, just go onto the website, the KUCCPS website, and the steps are right there. And just as we've discussed, you can actually get financial help from the government. You'll qualify for it once you go through this process. Gentlemen, many thanks for your time. Nicholas Iwatom, always a pleasure to have you with us, human resource practitioner, and we're also joined by Paul Juma, who's a manager of the Corporate Communication Department at KUCCPS. So for all the young minds out there, the time is running out. Make sure you're able to revise your course in order to secure that bright future you hope for. You're watching Morning Express. We've come to the end of the broadcast. Many thanks for watching. Hope you're adequately informed. Remember, keep it KTN News for more updates on news making headlines. Up next, News Center with Brenda Zeda Redido. Stay tuned.